we're always working towards that next best version of ourselves, right? So we're always imagining, what is the best version of me wearing, and who is that? What is she doing? And then aligning your style to that. And
Yeah.
there's always going to be the like flow of your past self and your future self that creates your current self, right? But you can let go of some things to make room for new things.
Welcome to the Coast Podcast. I'm Emilie, a virtual assistant agency owner who left Amazon in 2019 to build my dream.
And I'm Whitney, a freelance writer and communications consultant who never felt at home in a cube farm.
We wanted to learn from people who paved their own ways like we did. So we created this podcast to talk to others who were brave enough to pick a different path. Creatives, entrepreneurs, people doing their careers and their lives their way.
Join us as we make new friends, get inspired, and show you beautiful paths less traveled.
Not every road leads to the coast, but the ones that do come with a great view. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coast. My name's Emilie Given, and I own a virtual assistant agency in Lynnwood, Washington.
And I'm Whitney Popa. I own a communications consultancy in Edmonds, Washington. And my mom, who recently got back from this epic trip to Asia, asked me on our first FaceTime when she was home, like, can you tell me, you remind me of your business model? And I was like, what? No, I write things and I have fun and do workshops with my friends. And why are you asking me this? It was so funny and weird because she doesn't talk like that. So it forced me to think of my messaging again, which is what I just changed on my website to words, workshops, and connections for Pacific Northwest small businesses. And we have one of those here today. So our focus in the past year, 2 years, mostly has been female-led small businesses in the Seattle area. And those businesses we were looking for when we first connected, like who's doing things like we are, because we felt so isolated in what we did. And we've been such big fans of these two for so long when we saw them across the room at a CEO Society event. And we're just like, me sitting in my Carhartt jacket, Emilie in her Jordans, or what were they? The short Air Maxes?
My Air Force Ones that are pink.
Yeah, your AF ones. I'm sure they admired us as well
We
for
did.
our
Well,
good fashions.
I think we bonded because I was like, I'm just here to make friends. And you guys are like, yes.
Yeah. So let me introduce them because this has been a long time coming. We've been nagging for probably a year. So Syd and Jenn are the co-owners and CEOs. Ooh, co-CEOs, okay, of CoCapsules, who wear many hats, from being personal stylists to handling all the business operations. They're obsessed with every aspect of building their own empire. Being cousins who grew up incredibly close, their dream probably started 30 plus years ago, but they officially launched CoCapsules in 2017 and bootstrapped their way from a small online shop out of their homes to traveling around the state doing pop-ups and eventually landing on the historic main street of Bothell, Washington. Check them out in store or online. Thank you for being here, our favorite cousins.
I didn't know you were cousins. I had no idea.
You didn't?
No, I thought you guys were besties.
Say it a lot.
No, I was gonna say, I feel like we used to say it a lot and we haven't as much anymore, but yeah, not a lot.
It's always a fun little fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun fact.
I love that.
Jen's dad and Sydney's mom, right?
Yep.
I know
And we're
all
only
the
9 months
things.
apart in age, so we've literally been close as close can be.
Yeah.
30 plus years.
My gosh. I love that. So I'm going to tell you one thing, and I told you this before, I think either separately or together, but I don't know if you know, I don't even remember the name, the Cabby pop-ups. I told you, like, when I first saw you guys on Instagram, like several years ago, I was like, oh, it's one of those. And I don't know if I can be a part of the Tupperware party that they're doing, but like, I respect it. And then when we were all together at that event and I saw you had like a cute actual shop, not that I'm like against people doing pop-ups, but I thought it was like an MLM at first. And I have like strong negative feelings towards most MLMs. Then when I realized what you guys actually are, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like their biggest fan. And then I think I became one of the biggest fans because then I understood you. So could you walk us through like who you are and what you do at CoCapsules?
Sure. I feel like we should start by introducing ourselves individually. Like, I'm Jenn,
Sure.
for anybody who is
I'm
listening.
Sydney. Hopefully you guys can hear our voice differences.
Yeah, I don't think we sound that much alike, but who knows? So, as far as like what differentiates us, I guess, from like a cabbie or any sort of MLM, as you say, is that we are an independently owned, like small business. We're a women's boutique. And when we were doing pop-up shops, I do think people were confused and thought of us more as like that
Well,
things.
when we launched in 2017, we were just following a big push of the capsule wardrobe on like a lot of bloggers and influencers were talking about the capsule wardrobe. And so it was a trigger word. And so people would hear it and be like, oh, I know CoCapsules. Oh, I've heard of you guys.
And we're like,
I know
no.
capsule wardrobes. And we're like, no, we're a brand new business. It's CoCapsules, not capsule wardrobe. So yeah, we started in that kind of era, but the thing that set us apart from what everyone else was doing as far as blogging and creating capsule wardrobes was that everyone was creating this guideline of like every capsule wardrobe was the same. Like it was a set number, you had this many t-shirts, this many jeans. It was really specific and everyone's wardrobe started looking the same.
Yeah.
And we were like, that's boring.
Yeah, well, and not like everybody's lifestyle isn't the same. So how
Yeah.
could your wardrobe possibly all be the same?
Yeah.
And I feel like there were so many people who were either bloggers slash stylists, personal stylists, or there were home organizers, or there were boutiques. And there was really nobody who kind of combined all of those aspects. And we're like, but what if we combined all of those aspects? So
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to custom curate people's capsule wardrobes based on what their lifestyle was. So
yeah,
during that time, I was a brand new mom, just coming out of working 100% retail, like just a whole different lifestyle. And Jen was going from corporate to small business. And so both of our wardrobes were like drastically changing.
constant.
And we were like wanting to minimize, but also wanting to have fun with it. So
Yeah.
we kind of
Mhm.
took inspiration from our own lives, talked to other women who were like, yes, I understand that. I struggle with the same thing.
Yeah.
And so since then, we've just working with individuals, morphing their wardrobes into something that makes sense for their lifestyle, whether that's a tiny capsule wardrobe or whether that's still working with a large wardrobe, just in a more intentional way.
Because it also depends on your physical space. And I think that that's where like all three aspects come into play for us. It's not just about like, oh, what size closet and I can only have however much fits in my closet because, you know, my house was built in the 50s. Our closets are freaking tiny. And then you have other people's homes who have massive closets, right? And so, yes, there's the physical space, but then there's the personal style aspect of it. And then it's like, okay, so now I know how much quantity I can have. I know the aesthetic and the direction that I want to take my wardrobe, but I don't have any clue where to actually go shop for pieces of a great quality at a reasonable price point. And so the boutique was really like to support the mission of loving what you own, only owning what you love, everything in your closet, like working for you and your lifestyle. And then the boutique quickly became what people really wanted from us. And then once they got to know our product and why we picked the things that we picked, then they're like, oh my gosh, can you help me with my closet? And we're like, sure, sure, sure. We can definitely do that.
Yeah. And everything that you do, especially for me, and we've talked a lot about this, like there's so many directions that I can go, is like I went on, and I know Sydney can relate to this, like I've been on a mission the past couple of years to like take my body back after having kids and owning my business and getting rid of, like I got rid of all my blazers finally from being a corporate girly. And now I'm not that at all. And how can I be comfortable and still stylish on my like 2 days that I actually wear clothes that are hard pants? And what I came in after I discovered who you are and what you actually do is like I came in with that mission and I have a pretty good sense of what I like and what my style is. But then you helped me even with sizing of like I always like whenever I wear my extra small tank top, I think of Jenn and Sydney. Like I never would have picked an extra small off the because you just go to your sizes that you're used to, and that's like a huge benefit of having basically these boutique besties who are telling you, no, in this size, this size will work, or this brand, this size will work the best for you for what you're going for. And really empowering us to create this wardrobe that like fits us and our bodies where they're at right now, and like teaching us how the things work together, even the cardigan with the belt that I wasn't going to do. For me, like one of the biggest benefits of knowing you, whether you can go into the boutique in person or not, is those little tweaks of like mindset around what fits me and what's for me, and how you like coach people on their styling and get them where they want to go. So, can you share a little bit about like when people walk in the door, some of the like conversations that you have to have with them to like help them understand like
Yeah.
where they're going with
Well,
their wardrobe?
I wanted to say, first of all, that was so well said. And I'm so happy that you had that experience organically.
Yeah.
You know, when you came shopping with us for the first time, we didn't know what you wanted or how much you were going to spend or what size you were. We were just like, oh, cool, Whitney's coming in. This is going to be fun. And that kind of kicks off the start of every interaction with each customer that walks in the door, whether we know they're coming or whether we don't, or know them or not, kind of thing.
Yeah. I was just going to say, as far as like when people walk through the door, like what you're talking about, if we've never met you before, our favorite thing, or at least mine, I guess I won't speak. My favorite thing is when people jump into like kind of defensive mode and they're like, I can't wear this. That actually tells me automatically that you have this so much at the front of your mind that the first thing you're going to tell me is that you can't wear it. It makes me think that you want to wear it. And so then I will automatically be like, okay, why not? And if there's, everybody has their validations for what rules we've imposed upon ourselves, or like, well, skinny jeans are out. It's like, okay, well, that's an external imposed thing. Like, if you want to wear skinny jeans, like, you can wear skinny jeans. So I think a major part of what we do is give people permission, right?
Yeah.
Like, and not just permission from a willy-nilly source, but from people who are really well educated and like well rounded in how we approach it. Especially Pacific Northwest, like style here is a little bit tricky for a lot of different people, whether you want to be more casual or you want to be more elevated. So when people come to us and they're like, I can't do this, automatically we're like, okay, let's try that and determine if you can't do it, quote unquote, because you don't want to and you actually hate that color, or because you really want to, but you think that you can't for
Yeah,
some other
either you've
reason.
been told by someone else or you
Yeah.
read on the internet that that's not for you, like
Yeah.
no matter what it is. So yeah, we kind of jump at the challenge and
Yeah.
see it as an opportunity to get to know this person and to learn a little bit more about what their boundaries are. And then we kind of guide them through this journey, this style journey of like, okay, well, let's give it a try. And kind of the process then of working with a customer who comes in, we've got that experience under the belt already, is like, okay, well, what's your timeline? Do you have time to try some stuff on today? Do you want to focus on bottoms or tops or dresses? And then we kind of just push them into the fitting room and feed different outfits through. Something unique about our process here in store as well is that we don't have mirrors in our fitting rooms. And that's extremely intentional because we don't let people make judgments on trying stuff on before visual judgment
Yeah.
before feeling what they're in, and like we always say before you step out of the fitting room, like take a second to like feel how you feel in these clothes before you before you step out and get the visual impression of yourself.
Yeah. It also helps us a lot. And like coaching is a really good word for it, because we get to have a read on people's body language before they've ever seen themselves, right? So like you can step out of the fitting room before you've seen yourself in a dress, and we have people literally like dance their way out of a fitting room. And I'm like, all right, girlfriend, I know you love this. Like, so let's talk about how to now, like once you've seen it on yourself, and you start nitpicking at all these little things, let's talk about how to like minimize those things, because you clearly felt good when you first opened those doors.
Yeah. I feel like you
So
have your work cut out for you working with women because we carry so many stories.
We do.
we do.
And women also think that, us included, that our insecurities are so unique. And they're like, well, I just hate this area. And it's like, an area of their body. And I'm like, do you know how many women hate that area on their body? And how many times do you point out that area on somebody's body and say, that doesn't look good?
Never.
Never. You're
Like,
only so focused on yourself, and so is everybody else. So stop focusing on that area because nobody cares
yeah.
except for you, and the point is to feel good. And of course, if there's something that you're feeling insecure about, we want to help you work through that or avoid that. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of mindset work and it's a lot of practice. Something that we say a lot is practice wearing something that you're uncomfortable with, but that you like the look of, because the more that you wear it, the less you're going to care about those little things.
Or kind of vice versa, like practice wearing something that feels good on your body, like sensory wise. And then you grow to not care about the look of because you physically feel good. And how often are we looking in a mirror throughout our days? I mean, yeah, there's social media and we're taking pictures and doing videos and all these other things. But in reality, you look in a mirror the first part of your day when you check your outfit and then maybe when you go to the bathroom. So really, like, visually, it doesn't matter that much. And if you physically feel good in an outfit, that comes across, like the confidence comes across that you're not uncomfortable in your skin and in your second skin, which is your clothes.
Right.
Like,
and speaking of the confidence, that's always the thing that people are complimenting you on. It's not necessarily that you have the cutest top ever. It's that you look like you love wearing that cute top and
Yes.
therefore you look so good today, know? So it really is about feeling good in what you're wearing versus feeling like you look good.
Yeah.
That's a big point too, because we recently, a couple months ago, Jillian and I did this photo shoot and I had two outfits that I brought with me. And one I felt like okay in, and one I felt really like me, where it's just like, I call it like a fancy hoodie because it was cropped and I had like my Free People vest over it. And then I had jeans from you on. And when I changed into that outfit and walked in, every single person in that room was like, we can tell that you feel different in this outfit, and those are my favorite photos too. Like I had to really discover like what is my style now and like what do I feel good in, because even when I was growing up my mom was like, are you gonna wear a gray sweatshirt and tennis shoes every day? I remember being in 7th grade and having her ask me that and I was like, yes. And then when I like moved to Idaho and I had to go to Catholic school and she took me for the tour that turned into me just staying there, she was like, maybe wear cords. And I was like, why? And it turns out we had this super strict dress code, no jeans. And so I couldn't like be myself in the way that I dressed for a long time. And so coming back to myself and wearing what I want to wear in this like basic uniform of hoodies and vests and layers and Pacific Northwestness, you guys have helped me a lot with that, of like owning what it is that I like and then just doubling down on that.
Yeah, we like to say lean in. Like lean into something that you like. And like if you like hoodies and like that kind of athleisure vibe, like lean into it and make it a little extra. Add the vest, add the cool sneaker. Don't just be boring. Lean in. Make it extra.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys didn't even know that I just bought myself my first Vihas. I think that's how you pronounce them. After like 2 years of wanting them.
Is it Veja?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's so many brand names that we like say multiple ways. I'm like, I don't know how to say that.
I don't know if it's right or
Fancy $200 sneakers, not the Golden Gooses. Sorry, Emilie, I will never. But like that's
You don't have to.
That's my version. Like
everyone's got their own sense of style.
Yeah.
and I feel like $1 bazillion in it. Like I told my husband, like, and my best friend, we've been texting about these shoes for 2 years. And I'm like, I finally got mine. I pulled the trigger, I bought them, and I need them in like 9 versions because that's all I wear now. And I feel so like expensive for me in them in this super positive way. And it reminded me of like the way that I'm building my wardrobe now is around like the consignment store that I'm always at, and you guys. And when my mom was going on this trip to Asia, and we can get into her and how you help her and all these different like services you offer, because she's the prime example of that, is you said like, thank you for bringing her in, because which she should have done anyway. She just needed the motivation from me. Is you said, we want to be the first stop. And I really love that because it's like, you're not I mean, some people get their entire wardrobes from you, but you're realistic in that they're not necessarily going to shop exclusively at CoCapsules, but to start with you and build that confidence in who they are and what they love wearing, and then taking that skill set into everywhere they go, that's so helpful, like for everybody, because they have you in their brains. Like I'm going and trying on extra small tank tops sometimes when I'm not at CoCapsules.
Yeah. I love that you say that too, because I think it's a really intentional part of how we do like shopping appointments or even in-store, like walk-in type of shopping, is we want to empower and educate you while you're here, not just so that you feel that way while you're here. I want you to have the confidence to like, I don't know, give a pushy sales girl some pushback, like, and be able to say like, no, this isn't for me. It's not aligned with my personal style. No, this isn't for me. It doesn't fit me. Like,
Yeah.
just having those key words and feeling, again, confidence in knowing what you're looking for, knowing what works for you, knowing what you don't like, and being unapologetic about it. Like, I don't like that color. Please don't show me anything else in that color. Like, is really, really helpful and less stressful when you do shop elsewhere.
It also helps shopping in person and online too. We do a lot of exercises and education on how to filter things out when you're shopping online as well, because so much of what we do is empower people to shop intentionally. And shopping intentionally often means shutting out the things that do not work for you or that do not bring you joy, do not make you happy. So we teach you how to shop online as well, with like using different filters and clicking on the right websites that align with the values that you have and all those types of things.
It's definitely like cuts down on decision fatigue.
Yeah.
Also like constantly bombarded, whether it's on social media or online shopping or in-person
Well,
shopping.
yeah. And a lot of people come to us saying, I don't like shopping. And we're like, okay, fair. Shopping's hard, but here's why you don't like it. And then after they've shopped with us a few times, they're like, oh, I kind of do like shopping, because they do it and you just learn a different way to do it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And that's one of the things with my mom, for example. So we saw you across the room. We had the vibes. We wanted to
Which
be
I wanted
friends.
to call out, we had the same vibes.
We had
and it
the
was
same
so
exact vibes.
crazy because we get back and I'm like, those two girls over there, they seem those were the people I wanted to connect with, but then we wound up not actually even talking to each
It
other.
was so funny too, Whitney, because I had seen both you and Emilie on Instagram. We'd seen the accounts and everything, but I know I had followed you, Whitney, before the CEO Society, but I didn't put it together that it was the same person, that you were the same person I saw on Instagram. And then we left the meeting and I saw you put up a story and I was like, oh my gosh, that was Whitney Popa. And you were like on your way to Eastern Washington. And then we got to talking and like figured out why the vibes were there, because we're small town girlies. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's magical. And then we literally like had the same conversation. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you. Well, I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah. Magic is undeniable. And we also, Emilie, not so much, but, and you can speak for yourself, but I had at that point, I probably still have if I still networked a little bit. I was in my networking era, I think, at that time, and probably right at the end of it for now. I think I'm going to reignite it. But anyway, I have this like Irish, Sam always makes fun of me because she kept trying to meet me for months and I would like disappear from all of these events. And Emilie and I went to a lot together and I would tell her, but not other people, that I was going to sneak out because we didn't want to have to say like long, awkward goodbyes. I don't know. And sometimes I didn't know that I was sneaking out, but
I left to that one early too, because I had a very sick dog at home. So I was, yeah. But
well, yeah. And then I followed you out because I was like, an excuse to leave. Great.
well, like those events are really fun, but I don't know. For me, it's like you only have limited battery, right? Like, and then when you're drained, you gotta go. Like,
yes,
I feel the same way. Like, I'm an introvert, and so when I'm in those experiences, I'm like, this is fine. But the second I leave, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, and I don't want people anymore today.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then for me, after that 3 hours driving by myself, great. I loved it.
Recharged your battery.
Yeah. And so at that time, because I like really pride myself on being a connector in a super intentional way, like at that time, my mom was like, bothering me all the time. Like, I need a personal stylist. I need somebody to help with my wardrobe. I'm transitioning from California to this area. And I was like, Mom, you have to meet these girls. They are from like Kashmir and Wenatchee, right where you were from. They understand you and your lifestyle. And she's got this story in her head of like, I'm older now. Like she's the cutest, tiniest Barbie thing. She's going to be listening to this like, oh my God, Whitney, you said such nice things about me. But she's like beautiful, like a sparkly person. Like you
She
see,
truly is.
yeah, you see her
I
on the
love
street and
her.
you're like, that person is like glitter. She just is.
This is just going to turn
And
into a
I know.
fangirl.
I love using your mom as the example of one of our styling members because it
yeah,
just, we can get into this further, but like it just gives you the scope of the type of people that we work with. Like we are not just a cute, trendy, modern boutique for young people. Like
And I will
we are
say,
a boutique for all ages.
99% of our customers are above the age of 28.
For sure.
Like, and I think people walk into our store and it's light and bright and clean. And for some reason that gives off a young, trendy vibe, but we're not trendy and
Not
we
at all.
don't actually cater to like teenage or like college age girls.
No.
Mhm.
I mean, they can definitely shop here, but we're like not cool enough for them
No.
yeah.
We're almost intimidated when young, cool people come in.
because they are very trendy and we're just not.
We're
Like,
not. We're very classic.
I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with not catering to that.
well,
Like,
there is so much that already does.
Yeah.
And so like when we were like first starting out, and like Sydney was saying, like she had just had a baby and I was going between corporate and small business, like there wasn't anything for women who were like mid-20s and older.
Yeah,
There
trying
was
to
Eileen Fisher for like older women, but there was not anything in between Forever 21 and Eileen Fisher.
Eileen.
I am
Well, now
serious.
I
Like,
watch the
that's
girls
like
at the
a
mall.
idea.
I think it's called Garage now that they shop at,
Oh,
where
I
they get
saw
their crop tops and their sweatpants.
Yeah,
Or
they have
like,
tiny crop tops and really large
I
sweatpants.
mean,
I see.
so
Yeah.
I have this, I coached high school cheer twice at two different high schools. And like one cheerleader from each school has been like my baby growing up. Like Vanessa just got married and Sam is, in college at Western. And she's like, they are both like my Gen Z. I will text them like, they taught me how to screen record. I didn't know how to screen record. Like, like they teach me like these. I will text them if like there's a slang term I don't know because I have a 15-year-old boy at home too. And my son's 15. But like I'll text them to do things and then like learn new slang. And then I've like started asking Sam about like clothes, right? Because she is hip with the Gen Z trends. And she's like, yeah, that looks good. And then my son's like, you look like a kid from my middle school. And I was like,
probably
not the
not.
vibe. Like that's not what I want.
Well, too far.
So right. So like the guidance of like what looks good to them, like is not going to look good or appropriate on not necessarily inappropriate, but like that's not what I'm going for at age 33.
Yeah.
So like
And it's
the
like-
fact that you are specifically dedicated to, our time in our
We
lives.
really
That's
specialize in the in between, in
Yeah,
the like,
the
okay,
transition.
yeah, and like, circling back to Whitney's mom, like, okay, I'm older, but I don't want to dress like a grandma. I still want to embrace personal style. I still
Yeah.
want to have fun with my outfits or when I travel. I don't want to dress trendy, but I don't want to dress like too old.
moo no
I dress like a
moo-moos.
Stop at Eileen
Yeah.
Fisher. Like, and there's nothing wrong with Eileen Fisher. Like, there's beautiful individual pieces, but then there's that whole look.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Mhm.
and then you find women who come in and they're younger than your mom, Whitney, and they're like, oh, I can't wear that. So I love to use like, oh, really? Well, I have clients in their 60s who wear this. Like, and they're like, oh, and they're like 45. It's like you can definitely wear this if you want to. And it's okay to not want to wear something.
Sure.
But like it's really exciting to work with women of all ages who are open-minded to trying or who do put their trust in us. I mean, it's a lot. Like that's a really, great responsibility that we get to have sometimes. And Sydney has some clients in her 60s or in their 60s. You're not in your 60s
I am not in my 60s yet.
yet. getting close.
Something that you did with her too that really I can tell built her confidence was beyond the closet clean out, which she needed. But then she was like taking things out of the bag because she's so bad. So you have to take the bags too, is the questionnaire of helping her identify her style. And then now you're doing some courses around that too. Can you talk
That's
a little?
yeah, actually. So yeah, we always start with our styling members doing sort of a questionnaire and figuring out what their style aesthetic is.
Yeah, that they're drawn to. And we use the term elements because there can be an entire garment, which is like a single piece of clothing, right? That's a garment. But within a garment, there's all these little details, right? So whether it's the fabric or there's like a lot of zippers and studs and metal elements on it,
Or the
or
structure
the
of it,
structure of the fabric, and
whether
that
it's
kind of thing.
flowy or
Stiff.
tailored. Yeah.
Yeah, or like as you say, hard pants versus soft pants, like that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things that go into even an individual piece of clothing. And you might like the idea of a jean jacket, but you don't like the traditional waist length fitted jean jacket. Maybe you like things that are more oversized because your style is more casual. So we might mark oversized as a positive element for you. And so that's really like helps us narrow down what people are drawn to so that then we're recommending pieces that contain those elements.
What if
It's
you're
like,
drawn to like too many different things? Like I really like the idea of like neutrals.
Yeah.
But I really also love the idea of like a hot pink blazer with like printed shorts for like
Yeah,
a fun pop.
that's
You know what
very
I mean?
common.
Like,
I think that
Yeah.
most people tend towards circling all the things versus being really picky about it, which is fine.
Yeah, I would say there's the key words that I heard you use, Emily, are idea. I like the idea of neutrals. I like the idea of a hot pink blazer and printed shorts. Like we might like these ideas and we might see them on other people. And like I worked for Kate Spade and now I have no color in my
that's
wardrobe.
kind of like my jam is like
Oh,
I'm drawn to the Kate my office is like Kate Spade pink and orange, like literally. So
Emily, your neutral is leopard. Like your favorite neutral is leopard.
right. Yeah. I like bold, but I also feel like maybe it's like more like
That's what I
be
heard.
drawn.
Yeah.
I should be drawn to a neutral aesthetic. Like, you know, when someone has like the aesthetic Instagram feeds, I'm like, oh, maybe I need to like change my style to be like that. But I don't. Like, I don't think I do.
You don't need to
you don't
change your
need to.
style.
And I think we have to lean away from the shoulds, but liking the idea or liking something for somebody else, like acknowledging that looks awesome on her. She always looks great. What is it about that that I really like? Is it the fact that she looks like she put some effort in and or that she looks effortless? Like, what about those two things that do I like? And then you can take again these like little parts of that. So I like the idea of neutrals. You probably like the idea of neutrals because they always go together, right? And it seems simple and like not too much thought into it and that kind of thing. But you can always mix neutrals with bold colors.
Well, and
Like,
I
you
was gonna
find what works
say,
for you.
you can always create your own guidelines for what neutrals are. So some
Right.
people's neutrals are tan, camel, beige, cream. Some people's neutrals are navy, dark gray, maybe a
Right.
green. You know, you can create your own rules for what your neutrals need to be for what your personal style is. And that's what we do with our clients as well. Is this like, okay, this is your set of neutrals. Here are your pop colors. We can shift that into the next season if you're feeling
Yeah.
inspired by a new color or print that's coming out. Like, okay, we can morph that into your wardrobe, and maybe it's time to pull something else out to curate that cohesive sense of style.
So then that
No,
goes
I
back.
love that.
It's like you have to practice. You have to just try it. And then the on after practice, the next step is honesty and like being super transparent with yourself. Like I love looking at Kate Spade things on other people. I think that they're beautiful. I think that they're really, really fun. I think that they match so many people's personalities and like shine bright like a unicorn, like do your thing. I am more like a very dark witch than a unicorn, though. So I don't feel like
That is incredible.
unicorn colors like are good for me. They don't match my personality.
also,
I
like,
am like a witch
say-
unicorn.
You can also
Oh,
say that used to be really good for me, and
Yeah.
for future me, it's not aligned. So
Yeah.
I get to let go of some of those things that used to be me,
Yeah.
but that, we're always working towards that next best version of ourself, right? So we're
Mhm.
always imagining what is the best version of me wearing and who is that? What is she doing? And then aligning your style to that. And
Yeah.
there's always going to be the like flow of your past self and your future self that creates your current self, right? But you can let go of some things to make room for new things.
This is why I love them so much, because they think
I know.
at
I'm like
this level.
sold. I'm coming in. Closet clean out. It's
To
all
your
happening.
point, though,
Real
that's
deep into the woo on all of it.
But that's what happened to me. Like, as soon as I started shopping with you guys, I was looking at my closet and I had this visceral reaction of must purge everything that does not represent where I'm going, and to allow myself the permission to wear what I feel best in. When I spent so long, like when I was in my corporate jobs, I had a lot of fun with how I dressed there. And even once I went to that high school, I figured out how to operate within that, but the system wasn't for me. The container wasn't for me. And now that I'm in my own container and I'm able to just play and do whatever the fuck I want, I'm like, I'm at CoCapsules, I'm at Anchor Chic, I'm at a few other places sometimes, but mostly just those places because that's where I can get what feels the most like me, which is my Pacific Northwest neutrals right now. And then my dark witch in unicorn is just my unicorn nails at all times. I'm in
Yeah.
my Lisa Frank
I was
era
just gonna
on my
say
I think
nails
that's
and
great,
bring in
though.
your pop of color with your fun nails, and that's
and my
part of
lip.
I think that's
your
so cool,
personality.
though.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you
Yes.
also do like fun accessories too. And that's the other thing. Like sometimes we'll recommend like, okay, if you are like confident in your neutrals, you feel good in your neutrals, but you love this idea of a pop of color, like we'll give you ideas of how to do it too. So
I
even
feel
though we
like
don't have a lot of color in the store, we are not against other people wearing color.
I feel I mean, I feel like the color is the elevated because like I want to stand out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like that's I'm the opposite, like pop of neutral maybe. But also
Yeah.
like it's so interesting how different we are. Like I'm the I want to stand out in the bold colors and Whitney's the Pacific Northwest neutrals. But if I feel like this is maybe me projecting, but I feel like when I try to dress like Whitney in like the cute athleisure, I look like that meme that's like Miss Trunchbull. Like I'm not kidding.
I love this example, and I think it takes me back to when we did our first master class in the store a couple months ago, where we're sitting. There's a table of how many people did we have? Like eight people.
Yeah.
Where we're doing our style wheel, which we were talking about with the different elements and categories and stuff like that. And everyone has a drastically different answer. However, we're then honing in on what ours are and not comparing to other people. And it's like we're trying to give you the permission and give you the confidence to embrace who you are, and of course get inspiration from the other people or whatever, but like mainly just learning about yourself and who you want to be and what you want to wear. And taking into consideration that like, okay, when I wear Whitney's style, I don't feel like Whitney. I feel like Miss Trunchbull. But when I wear my style, I feel like
Cannot.
the best version of
It's so true. Have you not seen that meme? Well,
myself.
your
Yeah,
I
that's
will
why
text you. I will text you.
Your comparisons of like when you come up with a visual of how you look in certain things, they're like
Are so
spot
accurate.
on.
They're
I
so
like
accurate.
I laugh all day. Like when you compared yourself in one of our photos to that lady in the tree in Moana or whatever it was.
It's Pocahontas. Yeah.
Oh,
Grandmother Willow.
and it was spot on. So I just can't.
And then the
Love laughing.
BECU ad was like Russell from Up.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll post all these if you want, everyone.
please.
They're
I think you
horrible.
might go viral if you do. Be careful.
we'll post a little side by side who wore it better. Oh,
So funny. I love though too, like another thing that you guys do, and my mom, because she has no boundaries sometimes, all love mom. She's like blowing up Jen's phone. And
We
oh,
love
I
Jenn,
blow up her phone back though. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she can be a little bit needy in that way. Again, all love, super positive, because she knows that that's like what you do. And you send her links to other places. Like she's like, I need a red dress. Jen, can you help me find a red dress? And you do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I don't have a red dress here.
No, for sure. And that's what you sign up for when you join our annual styling membership. You sign up to be our best friend. Like,
Yeah.
we are now your stylist best friend, and you get to text us whenever you are out shopping, whenever you're packing for something, if you're getting dressed for date night, you get to text us a picture and say what's missing, or, I need advice on this. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Wait,
basically-
actually?
that's,
Yes.
you get
my
access
God.
to us in that way when you pay for it.
Like
I'm in.
kind of
What?
our
I love
annual
this.
styling membership is what Sydney is talking about. And it's $500 for the year. But basically you get the one-on-one access to your stylist, and that includes the best friendship. Well, and that continues well after. your
Well, and
membership.
this, I was going to say, we're also really, really picky about who we accept into our annual styling membership. There's an application process now. We don't just let anyone be an annual member because
we put a lot of
there
energy
is
into
so
it.
much of that in-depth process. So if we don't vibe, if we don't feel like the communication is going to be equal,
Yeah, two-way street.
a two-way street, then it's a no for us, because you're not completely invested in your personal style.
Yeah,
And if
we
you're
can't care more than you
exactly,
Yeah.
and we're not going to waste our time doing so.
because we care a lot.
We
Like,
do
a
way
little
too much.
too much sometimes. So we need you to care at least almost
Yeah.
as much as
And so we decided to do that, to keep our price at $500 for the year. We considered raising the price and letting more people in to kind of give that, but we decided no, we're going to keep it at this price. And it sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, you're going to keep it at a lower price and let less people in. But that gives us the opportunity to work closely one-on-one with our annual members, and also have the capacity to run our boutique and our website and our other memberships and master classes as well. So it opens the doors to these other opportunities for everyone else who's not quite the right fit for our annual styling membership, right? Does that make sense?
I love that. And it
really-
reminds me of things that I've learned the hard way too, where I'm like, make that form a little more robust, or this
We
is
were like, oh, we'll raise the price and that'll keep people from
no.
from joining the membership. But no, like, we were like, no, we need to decide who can be a part of this membership.
And that's also like a great thing to remind everyone listening. Like, when you own your own business, you get to choose who you're working with. Like, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
we've definitely learned that.
I tell
I
people
wouldn't
all
say
the
hard
time,
way, but the long way.
The long
Yeah.
way. I mean, it took 6 years, but we did it.
same. I beat the drum of, like, I've only had a few shitty clients, and that's on me because I felt it going into it, right? And now I'm in this
Exactly.
place,
You have to take responsibility.
yeah, where I'm like, no, I only work, like, you don't have to pay your dues. You don't have to have shitty people to get to the good people. Yes, there are opportunities for learning along the way, and hopefully you learn quickly, but you could go into it just saying, I only work with like great people, and not require, like, anybody listening now could start their boutique and be like, oh my gosh, I have the permission to work with whoever I want and have this application process, and I don't have to go through what Jenn and Sydney did to get there, or Whitney, having shitty clients or thinking I have to pay my dues to get to where I want to go. No, you don't. You can have amazing unicorn clients from the beginning. And I've had mostly that too. And then I just decided I'm only having unicorn clients. I'm not even open. Or, like Emilie said once, when I was watching a little too much murdery stuff and thinking I was going to get murdered by somebody in town, she was like, you're just not available for murder. And I'm not available for.
Please love
Let the
this.
universe know
Can
that
we
you are
put
not
this on
available.
a t-shirt, like,
Yeah.
not available for murder?
I literally repeat
it.
that to myself all the time, though. Like, when I was in New York, I was riding public transportation by myself, and I was like, I am unavailable for murder today. Like, that's
This
just not
might
going to
be
happen.
the biggest takeaway from today's episode.
Unavailable for murder. This is mind-blowing to me. I also watch too much murdery stuff. And so
I
I'm into it.
watch zero murdery stuff, and so Jen will
Unavailable.
throw something out, like, well, what if this were to happen? And I'm like,
she's like, why are you
that would never have crossed my mind.
like, oh, but it does happen. I could give you 5 podcasts to listen to. Like,
Yes. Yes. But like, just you're unavailable
You
for that. I'm
you put it
unavailable
out
for
into the
murder. I'm
universe, and
unavailable
that's
for assholes. Yeah,
yeah, great.
unavailable.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could have a t-shirt with just a list of things that were unavailable.
Or like Velcro, like different.
Yeah.
Fill in the
You
blank.
have like the word that you just like, yeah.
Well, when I still worked in a corporate position and we had started CoCapsules and it was just like a tough time balancing everything. Sydney bought us both shirts that say I cry at work on them. And, and I was saying the other day, it's still in my closet, but I haven't had a reason to wear it in a really long time, which
Yeah,
is
I
like
used to cry. Now I don't.
a positive thing. Yeah, now I don't cry at work
Remember
anymore.
that there
I
was like
needed
that
to sell
whole
a t-shirt.
Yeah.
there was like that whole viral article about like Amazon employees crying at their desks at work. But like now you can cry out of happiness.
That's
For
true.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Meaning.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Emily, you're just so kind.
Sometimes I really am.
Another thing I used to do was go on rage walks. I would have to leave to go on a rage walk around the block, and now I don't rage walk as much.
I would rage walk down to Macrina and get myself a little focaccia with the olive tapenade. So good.
Sounds delicious.
Yep. I rage
Shout out to
walked.
Macrina.
I rage walked to
Bread.
Nordstrom, or when I was at Nordstrom, I rage walked to the like cafe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a whole thing. This has been so awesome. Oh my gosh, like time has gone by so quickly. We want to try to do rapids that aren't going to be super rapid. So these are yours. Just make them what you want, whether it's rapid or not is up to you. So let's roll. What are you proudest of in your business right now?
Ooh. I would say the fact that we're doing more with less. It feels like, at least with less. Like it is and it isn't less, but we are doing more this year than we have ever done in the past. And it seems like we're doing more while not letting any other balls drop.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
love
me.
that. For me, I'm really proud that we brought on an employee last year and someone who has been such a vital part of our team and our growth as entrepreneurs and small business owners. I feel like hiring that she wasn't our first employee, but she was our first like serious long-term employee.
Yeah.
And that felt like a big milestone. And we couldn't be doing more without her.
Yeah. Michelle.
Yeah.
We love her.
We love you, Michelle.
I was going to say it speaks to you probably delegating, which is Emilie's whole empire is built on the art of delegation. And it's cool to be with people who are in kind of the same like time frame in your business, because I started my business in 2017 too. So to be like, I don't think I thought of what it would become or how long it would take me to get places, because I just didn't know. I was like, it was kind of like, I have to do this. I'm not thinking like, and when will I get to the point where I delegate effectively and feel more spaciousness? Like, I didn't think about that. But to be in this place too, where I'm like, look at, like, I'm getting so much shit done and it doesn't feel as heavy as it used to. And I love that for me. And then to see that in other people reflected back is really fun.
Yeah.
Tell us about a book you read or podcast you listened to recently that changed the way you're thinking about your life or your business.
Oh.
I feel like we should talk about wartime and peacetime.
Okay, I was going to say bossy for sure.
Yeah, because that's something so the
Yeah.
Bossy podcast is something we've both been listening to lately.
It
And
was one of those things. I started listening to this podcast. Mostly I listen to murder podcasts, and then sometimes I listen to business podcasts. And I was like,
Balance.
I did the link a long time ago to Sydney and Michelle and was like, listen to this podcast. I wasn't even really asking. I was just like,
being bossy.
yeah, I was being bossy about it. I was like, you guys need to listen to this podcast. And then Sydney's been better about listening than I have recently. And she was like, you need to listen to the wartime peacetime episode.
Yeah. So the wartime peacetime was like every business goes through peacetime and wartime. And we were talking about how like the end of last year, like fall was our biggest, like most
Peacetime.
successful. We were just like flowing and grooving. Like things were not easy, but they were like just so
In a flow
impactful
state.
and just in a flow state. We did Crow Fest. We introduced new lines. It was just, we had Michelle on
It
board.
was like then in the groove.
Yeah, it was just,
like-
we were just moving and grooving. And then like December hit and things just slowed down massively.
It
Like
felt
like
like
an abrupt
off a
stop.
cliff.
Yeah, like it just like abrupt. And then throughout January and February, it's just been like the day-to-day trudging through, like making it work and like just fighting for everything. Every little thing was like a fight. And so we were like, okay, that's normal. It's normal. We had peacetime and now it's wartime, and we'll circle back to peacetime.
Yeah. Yeah. So that podcast episode, I feel like, was really good. It's interesting because it's two entrepreneurs who are on this podcast. For anybody doesn't listen to it, it's Katie Gaddy-Tossin and Tara Reid, and they both have their own separate businesses, but they are amazing. And they've started taking guests on their newer season, but mostly it's just the two of them talking about different topics, and they have a great perspective on things. That's just different.
And I like that they both have, a lot of the times they have very different perspectives.
Yes.
And then they talk about it in such a like collaborative way. And so you can take bits and pieces from each of their perspectives and kind of mold it into your own.
Yeah, we had a guest on, Amanda Gale, who's a local like spiritual coach, and she was talking about the ebb and flow in businesses too. Like the ebb prepares you for the flow, and like when it changes all of a sudden into the ebb and like kind of adjusting to that. And it was really helpful perspective in that way of like, just like with life, you know, you expect it to just keep going, and then you're shocked and you have to go through this kind of like process to get there. And she said, when the bigger the ebb, the bigger preparation for a flow that's coming.
Wow.
So get ready. What would your last meal be?
Ooh.
French fries, just like really good seasoned French fries.
Like the Red Robin ones?
No,
Bottomless.
I like the bison.
The bison, they do really. For
The bison is just like kind of a divey, like
they're
bar
on
across
Main
the street.
They're here in Bothell, but they have really, really good
I don't know what it is
burgers,
about their
fries,
but-
and their ranch.
Oh
is
my gosh.
so
I would
good.
just get a big basket of fries and some ranch.
I would have carnitas tacos with salsa verde and cilantro and lime.
Yum.
That would
All
be
of
We've
that
had
sounds great.
lots of Mexican.
yeah.
I mean,
It's hard to go wrong.
the best.
We talked too, like, I think I've told Emilie this, like in my vision, it would be like the table on Hook, where I just have, because I can't choose, I just have all these things.
Everything.
Oh, I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I
Nobody
feel like
asked.
That's a cheating.
I mean,
It is cheating.
You don't have to
Yeah.
pick one.
hey,
My last meal is everything that I would
Everything.
want it to be. What's the best business purchase you've made in the last 6 months under $100?
what if it was exactly $100?
Amazing. Your rules.
I booked an hour-long QuickBooks consultation with Erin from Upkeeping.
Woo! I love this.
She's
Well,
coming
that-
back to redeem herself because she was just, when she was on our podcast, she was high on painkillers and she did such an
Oh.
amazing job.
She was.
But we're like, we should have you back for a where
Yeah.
where you
I
can.
wasn't involved in the QuickBooks thing, but Jen came back from that glowing.
I was just
She was just like, oh my gosh,
bless Erin and everything.
amazing.
she does.
She's
She's
so good.
amazing, and she makes it like digestible.
Yeah, totally.
And like non-judgy, because even like what you guys do, so much of like what all of us do is like we have to deal with people like their vulnerabilities. It's a scary thing to like talk numbers with people, especially when I know you've been doing a lot of money work, Jen, but like just it's hard to be like that, like you're seeing this part of me that like, is it good? Is it bad? Is
I mean,
like
I feel like we both have done so much money work and have different perspectives on it, but like Jen still struggles to like have the conversations with me sometimes.
Yeah, because I feel like it's such like a personal thing and I'm so deep in it. I'm like literally
She's
like
like,
an
"Syd,
inch away.
we
from
need to
everything."
set up a meeting so that I can talk to you about our financials. And I'm like, are we
Yeah.
going out of business? She's like, oh no.
It's just if I have it on the calendar, it's accountability for me that we sit down and talk about it. Otherwise, I'll offhand mention it
Yeah.
and then we'll never talk about it. So
Yeah.
that was my business purchase, I guess, for $100 that I think was money well spent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have an answer.
totally.
It's something
I love that answer.
I don't really.
It's a great
spend money.
answer.
Yeah.
No, I mean you buy like the stuff for the master classes,
Yeah.
and like
Just by little
marketing materials.
You know,
and all
nothing
that.
detrimental though. I feel like
Yeah.
your answer is good enough for both of us.
Yeah. Shout out Erin. What's lighting you up lately?
Hmm.
I hate that we don't have a
I
good answer
know.
for
I
that.
wish that we did. I
Well,
feel like
it's the wartime, you guys.
it's been hard.
We've been struggling, but we wanted to keep this really light and positive.
Yeah. So things that are lighting.
Okay, well, our master classes have been really, really positive and well received by our attendees. And so that's been really exciting for us, master classes, and like just the energy that's there during the master classes.
You gotta take the small wins, you know?
Yeah.
Like celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're not 100% sure that we're going to like continue to do master classes forever, but the energy that's there during them is just incredible.
Yeah. It's great to get women together because that's been a goal for a long time.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's why I have been trying to do more like little, the small joy movement type stuff on Instagram for me, even just like capturing these little things and sharing them to show like for myself of like, oh, look at this cute thing that you have like going on in your day. And that's why I did my 10 things because I was like, I just need to put this out there to like remind myself later when I'm having a bad day of all these cute little joyful moments that I have. And then also I can now delete them from my phone roll. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
easy. I love being
multiple.
able to like curate a reel or like a post and then I can delete all the photos from my
Yeah.
I feel like for me, we redid our stock room in January, and now when I walk back here, it lights me up. This
Yeah.
would be the thing for me. It's like a physical space that's super functional
that looks
that looks pretty too.
Yeah.
It's
So
my goal for my house soon.
I can speak to that. We just finished a remodel on our house. We were living in a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 months while our house was under renovations. And I cannot tell you how much happier I am to be like back in my space where it's looks the way I want it to look and has the stuff in it that I want it. And it's so good.
That's a dream too, that it was 3 months. Because I
Well,
like keep getting freaked out.
it wasn't like a total gut. It was,
you guys didn't move any walls.
no,
or
I mean, we
anything.
took out pieces of walls for our staircase, but other than that, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a major reno. It was
Like
more
refinish.
cosmetic. Yeah, refinishes and stuff like that.
But
So,
adding the window in your dining room is like
yeah, we added a window. Yeah, we just needed to make some tweaks to make the space more functional and flowy. So,
It's so
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, you're inspiring me every time you post about it. So keep showing me those clean floors and your pretty moldings and all those things because that's where we're going next. At this point, I'm like, we live in a frat house. Like,
It's so hard to pull the trigger on it, and it's obviously with kids and life and everything, like, it's one of those things that there's never a good time for it, but it's worth it in the end.
yeah,
I feel like you can use that advice for business too.
absolutely. Our last question we stole from Rainn Wilson, who asks on his podcast, what's one life experience everyone should have?
I mean, is it too cheesy to say to start your own business? I feel like that's something that everybody should do, even if it's a lemonade stand as a kid or like trying to walk your neighbor's dogs for money. I think that there is value in being in control of trying to have your own income.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good answer because it's definitely not for everybody, but you wouldn't know it
No,
unless you tried it
no.
at some scale.
And I think people have to learn to do things even though they're afraid. And that's, most people, that's the number one reason they don't do it is because they're afraid. And it's like, try it anyways.
Yeah.
Mhm. What I've loved too is like in this community that we've all built together, there's so much people say that like real jobs, quote unquote, are like more secure. I've never found that to be true. And then as I've built my community around me, even this morning, I'll like walk around my house and think anything that I want to do at this point, I know someone who can help me or lead me in the right direction to finding the answer. And that is so comforting and beautiful for me that I can't like go anywhere else. Like I could go have a side full-time job at this point if I wanted to, but I always know that I can come back to like these people. And that's been a huge part of this podcast for us too, is like we just really wanted more friends.
Yeah.
And now we have them and like I know that I can come to you guys and be like, I don't know what to do with this outfit for a speaking gig that I got asked to do. And how do I even think about what to wear for this? Like, I don't even know where to begin. I can go to Erin if I see her like multiple times a week. So I'm like, don't ask her that question. Don't like pay for her time. Don't ask her that. But like the fact that I know she exists, I didn't even know these people existed before.
But also
Yeah.
like taking that a step further and being like, we could reach out to you guys and be like, hey, like we're just having a really hard month in business. Like, you guys want to go to lunch? And like
Yeah.
people who get
Yeah.
it, like other people don't get it unless you own a
100%.
business. And so like we've created a community that like we can all lean on each other, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think owning a business or, being involved in that, it opens your eyes to all the other people that have small businesses. And you're like just so much more willing to invest in their services or support their brand because the internal struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought of one. I think therapy or coaching, like,
Yes.
sessions at least, but like try it because it opens your mind up to so many different things that you wouldn't normally think about, no matter if you're a super positive person or, struggling with something. I don't think therapy is like something you go to that you have to go to when you're like in the trenches, but like, if you've never tried it before.
It's funny. I was thinking
Go
about
to it.
my very first ever therapy session this morning. I had therapy this morning actually, but I
I
was
love
thinking
therapy.
the first session I ever had with her, and luckily there was a dog in the room,
Oh, wow.
and that really helped me
Yeah. No, the first, especially when you wait to go to therapy
until you
you're
really
like,
need it.
really need it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my first therapy session, I basically just cried the whole
Oh,
time
that's
because I was like,
exactly it.
I can't believe I need to do this. But it has
I think
changed
that's pretty
everything.
par for the course, though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think everyone should give it a try.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. We're all representatives of our businesses too. Like it's so intertwined in our lives that like to be the best business, you have to be the best you. And that requires a lot of internal and hard work at all times. And that's
100%.
probably like what we felt across the room from you too. Of like these people are doing the work. Like we are, big suckers for getting to know ourselves better at all
Yeah.
times. And
Yeah.
that matters so much. And you bring that, like you can tell that you're bringing all of you into your interactions with your people who come to your store, part of your services. They're not just, a transaction. It's so much more of a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for seeing it that way.
Yeah, of course. It would be impossible not to. Emilie, do you want to ask your big question at the end?
I'm confused.
Where do we find you? I want to give you the opportunity. She's been on mute because she has a touch of COVID. So I'm
Yes.
giving her the
Sorry,
opportunity.
I'm tired. How can the people find you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, please go to our website. It's CoCapsules.com. So if you're not local to the Bothell area, you can shop our entire boutique online.
There is a chat bubble on our website too. So we are the ones responding to you. It's a real person. It's not
Like
a robot.
I said, we only have one other employee,
Yes.
so it's one of the three of us. Yes, and then that will take you to all the other places. Obviously, you can book a virtual shopping session, you can book an in-person shopping appointment, and then the other places we're most active is on Instagram and on Pinterest, both at CoCapsules.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time. Thank you for finally
Thank you
giving in.
for having
I'm
I'm
us.
so happy we did this.
Yeah,
Me too. It's
this
been a
was-
long time coming.
definitely.
Yes. Well, thanks for being our friend.
Of
Yes.
course.
Thanks for being our friends.
And we have Friday dates, the two of us, so we're changing one of our dates soon to go to CoCapsules.
Yeah,
Come
amazing.
see us.
Please. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you. And see you on the next episode of The Coast.
Okay. Bye.